Well, you got Kamala Harris doing an interview yesterday. Now, you might be like, Brad, don't do this to us, please. The torture, the waterboarding. We got to. We have to. Now, to be fair, I thought the same thing as all of you going like, we don't want to listen to cackling Kamala. We got to. And I haven't listened to her yet. So there might be some gems here that we might get out of this. So, buckle up. You have Kamala Harris. Says she has teams of lawyers. I'm not kidding. This was not a joke. Teams of lawyers. Get this. Oh, it's so rich. To challenge the what? The election results. Oh, boy. Oh, I told you. We just talked about this yesterday. We just said this yesterday. Where they're going to pretend like they never sat there and went against election results with Hillary Clinton. That they never sat there and pushed this whole idea of like, why is Trump challenging election results? It wasn't an equal, peaceful transfer of power, January 6th. Right? Now they're going to say, we never said those things. It didn't happen.
We've got 2 weeks to go. And I'm very much grounded in the present in terms of the task at hand. And we will deal with election night and the days after as they come. And we have the resources and the expertise and the focus on that as well.
So you have teams ready to go? Is that what you're saying? Are you thinking about that as a possibility?
Of course.
Now, this was a pretty good interview from what I've heard. I heard this lady actually pushes back a little bit, doesn't let her get out of it. So Kamala describes the definition of an election, you guys. Her describing anything. Remember, Democrats can't even describe what a woman is. You all remember that? Ketanji Brown Jackson up there, the running for the Supreme Court. I'm not a biologist.
This is a serious matter. The American people are at this point, 2 weeks out, being presented with a very, very serious decision about what will be the future of our country. This is a serious...
Oh, dude, she's crazy. Oh, this is a very serious decision. No shit. Yeah, we can't have another 4 years of you anywhere near the White House, lady. So the question is why do you think your economic message is not landing with voters? She still can't answer it, you guys. You know this question's going to come, right? There's certain questions about immigration, the economy, basically everything you've done terrible, Orly, Kamala. Well, you know this question's going to come and has been coming, and you still can't answer it.
Then why do you think that's not landing with voters? Because in the numbers, it's the opposite. Former President Trump leads you on this issue.
Well, when I'm out, this is why I'm going out to Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Just got in late this morning, actually.
From drinking. Jesus.
But going to 3 states yesterday, and I'm going to continue being on the road. I have to earn the vote.
Then why do you think that's...
She still can't answer it. No, and sometimes it's, don't get me wrong, sometimes it's cringy watching this woman, but it's hilarious. Why do you think your economic message is not landing with voters? Well, we're getting out there and I'm going to Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. I'm sorry, I got in late last night. That was her answer. There's nothing here in her head. And people still think that she's going to fix the economy. Oh, well, we're going to get to it. Check this one out. You're going to love this. You're going to freaking love this.
Reluctant to lean into, to talk about the historic nature of your candidacy on the campaign trail. Why is that?
Well, I'm clearly a woman. I don't need to point that out to anyone. The point that most people really care about is, can you do the job? And do you have a plan to actually focus on them?
I hear you on that.
That is why I spend the majority of my time listening and then addressing the concerns, the challenges.
Can you believe the cojones on this woman? Are you sure you're a woman? We're going to go back just a bit.
Dreams, the ambitions, and them.
I hear you on that.
That is why I spend the majority of my time listening.
And not doing shit.
And then addressing the concerns, the challenges, the dreams, the ambitions, and the aspirations of the American people.
I take the time to listen, and then I'm basically going to sit there and do something about it. No, you're not. You haven't. People have been complaining about inflation. You guys allowed that to go rampant. They've been complaining about all the foreign wars and our money going to foreign countries. You haven't done anything about it. Actually, Kamala, everything we have complained about, you sat there and have exacerbated the things that we've been complaining about. So maybe you are hearing, But maybe you're just misunderstanding. Maybe you're just misunderstanding. Or she just locks herself in a basement. So Kamala dishes up a classic Kamala word salad here, and it's not to be burdened by what's been undone.
I think part of what is important in this election is really not only turning the page, but closing the page and the chapter on an era that suggests that Americans are divided.
Wouldn't she have been a part of that whole division? Isn't she the one that is constantly coming out calling Donald Trump a threat to democracy? That he shouldn't be getting behind this podium with the presidential seal that she just said like a day or two ago? Isn't it the Democrat Party that is by definition the party of division? The party that basically created the Civil War because they wanted to hold on to slaves while the Republicans did not. The Republicans wanted to free everybody. Isn't it the Democrat Party that sits there and is in bed with Antifa and Black Lives Matter? Isn't it the Democrats, you guys, that just, I don't know, just a few years ago burned down our cities? Isn't it the Democrat Party that wants to soak division by taking away our First and Second Amendment rights, or at the very least, chiseling them away? It's funny how it's just, well, the division of the country. Yeah, because you nut jobs are sitting there imposing some crazy ass things, crazy policies that are crippling this country. Because we love this country and it's our home, we don't exactly get all excited, Kamala, when you impose certain restrictions on businesses or policies implemented through the government and put them upon the rest of the people. Because you love doing that. You love watching us peasants while you kings sit there and flourish, meaning the politicians. So I'm not exactly stoked to see my home, the United States of America, be kicked down and basically be invaded by 12 million people minimum, with about 30 million people here currently illegally that aren't supposed to be here in the first place. Now, we can go on a whole rant with that, and we're not, because we got more interview stuff coming up. But NBC says more voters think the Biden admin policies have hurt them than helped them. Are the last 4 years an obstacle to you?
Our new NBC News poll shows that more voters think that the Biden administration policies have hurt them rather than helped them. And I wonder, are the last 4 years an obstacle to you in this race?
Here's how I look at it. First of all, let me be very clear. Mine will not be a continuation of the Biden administration. I bring my own experiences, my own ideas to it, and it has informed a number of my areas of focus, most of which are, on, to your point, lowering costs. I am traveling the country. I am very clear. Cost of groceries still too high. The voters know it. I know it. So part of my plan includes what we need to do to bring down the price of groceries.
And our new NBC.
It is really, hand to God, it's a baffling thing. Basically, what Kamala is doing here, and I don't think Democrats have woken up to it at all. I mean, us Republicans, because we live in reality, we get it. She's basically holding the country hostage. If you really think about it, right? She has all these plans to fix everything, right? She has all these plans to fix the border. She has all these plans to fix these foreign wars and all these plans to fix your kitchen table issues. But unless you vote for me, you ain't getting them. She's here now. Shit. You still have November and December and some of January, technically. Hell, you could just put these in now and get going. Let's see how great they are. Mind you, she could actually have done this 3-4 months ago, maybe. And yeah, we probably could have saw the benefits of her plans, and it probably would have helped her. Here's the thing. It's all BS. That's why she hasn't put them in. She doesn't have a plan, or else she would have done it. And that's the only logical choice, other than the fact that you're really sadistic, Kamala, and you want to hold the country hostage unless somebody votes for you, like waving the carrot in front of them. That's disgusting stuff, man. That is some weird stuff. Not for that whatsoever. And she even admits that the American dream is dead under her leadership. It's not looking good for her, man.
And, you know, the idea of the American dream was something that previous generations could count on. Not as much anymore.
So you're not answering the question on the issue of taxpayer-funded sex changes. Oh, baby, now it starts getting a little spicy. When the interview starts to get a little bit more comfortable, you know what I mean? Then you can start really just reining in. You got to warm up a little bit. You know what I mean? You got to take some body shots. And that's what she's been doing, right? But now she's really going to start just aiming for the head a little bit. And that's what happens here.
Move on, but I don't know that I heard a clear answer from you on the issue of gender affirming care. It sounds like what you're saying is this should be something between trans Americans and their doctors. It feels like that's a long way from "we see you and we love you," which was your message to trans Americans in May. What do you want the LGBTQ plus community to know as they're looking for a full-throated backing from you for trans Americans?
I believe that all people should be treated with dignity and respect. Period. And should not be vilified for who they are. And should not be bullied for who they are. And that is a true statement for me my entire career. And that has not changed.
I will move on, but
So, you guys get to pay for illegal immigrants' sex changes, even criminals. That's fun. But don't worry, everybody should be treated equally. All the criminals that sat there and came here illegally are now in prison for committing another crime. Yeah, you get to pay for their sex changes because everybody doesn't deserve to be bullied. I'm sorry, you know what? If you sit there and rape and murder somebody, I think you deserve to be bullied a little bit. Yeah, I do. I think you should be 6 feet under a prison, but that's not the way Democrats want to do things. And that's why we've always said this, that Democrats don't want harsher penalties for anything. You look, there's a reason why people are just running roughshod over their states. There's a reason why crime is rampant in Democrat-ran cities. The reason why is because they're lax on everything. They think everybody should be treated equal. Remember how if you committed a crime, you basically screwed your life over and that you weren't capable of getting like an actual decent job because anybody in their right mind wouldn't want to hire a criminal because of the record? You're more likely to repeat some sort of offense in the future than you were not to repeat one. So this whole idea of you kind of being scared to commit a crime because one, you didn't want to go to jail or you didn't want to go to prison or you just have some sort of moral thought in your mind that it would hurt you in the future. Well, that's gone now. So people are like, well, I could sit there and ransack a place a bunch of times and well, nothing's going to happen to me. I'll just go to my job over the weekend because, well, nobody's going to fire me because in Democrat-ran areas, there's no harsher time. There's no harsher penalties. There's nothing. It's a slap on the wrist and everybody goes on their merry way other than the person that just got stabbed in the back or the business that just got their business burned down, or the business that just got looted, or the business that has to pay for this or that for the insurance company to fix whatever was broken by this or that of the criminal. Check this one out.
In 2019, you stopped short of calling to abolish ICE, as some Democrats were doing at the time, but you also said...
I'd never called for
correct, you stopped short of that. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. That's right. You said we should critically re-examine it, and you considered starting from scratch. Would you consider, if you're president, starting from scratch with ICE?
Let me tell you what the Customs and Border Patrol agents need, what the immigration system needs. It needs to be fixed. And it needs to be fixed in a number of ways.
Back in 2019...
And she, by the way, she doesn't give any answers. It is, you know what? I do have to give her a pat on the back here. Some of you might just spit out your coffee because you're like, Brad, you're going to compliment her? What? It takes a skill, you guys, to not answer a single question in an hour-long, 30-minute interview, however long this was. It's a skill. Yeah, I got to give it to her. She's actually pretty good at not answering any questions, and it's probably pretty easy for her because she doesn't have any plans or policies to implement to be able to even answer those questions in the first place.